Hi, my name is Susann Peck, and welcome to the Faculty Meeting and Data Overview for Murdoch Elementary School. The purpose of this data overview is to locate, review, and analyze the demographic and student achievement data on the Georgia Milestones end-of-grade assessments for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students at Murdoch Elementary School. If you notice on this slide, you will see the CCRPI scores for Murdoch for the past 3 years. In 2017, we had a score of 100.3. In 2018, we dropped to 92, and then in 2019, we increased again to 96.4. Murdoch's overall CCRPI score of 96.4 is higher than the district and the state. Murdoch also scored higher than the district and the state in all 4 content mastery categories on the CCRPI. This slide shows data about Murdoch's enrollment. We have 987 students. Half of them are male and half of them are female. We have 112 students with disabilities, 90 students who are English language learners, and 87 who come from economically disadvantaged homes. Our white, Hispanic, and Black populations have decreased over the last 4 years, while our Asian population has increased. Compared to the county, Murdoch has 26% more white students, 16% fewer Hispanic students, 10% more Asian students, and 24% fewer Black students. Murdoch has 63 certified teachers. 62 of them are female and 1 is male. 55 of our teachers are white, while 5 are Black and 3 are from 2 or more ethnic backgrounds. This aggregated data shows the trends in end-of-grade scores in ELA and math. Since 2015, math scores have been higher than English language arts scores, but they've all been going up. Social studies scores increased in 2016 and then decreased the next 2 years. In language arts, 47% of Asian students received a distinguished score, compared to 15% of Black students, 35% of white students, and 26% of Hispanic students. In math, 63% of Asian students received a distinguished score, compared to 15% of Black students, 37% of white students, and 12% Hispanic students. In science, 67% of Asian students received a distinguished score, compared to 17% of Black students, 31% white students, and 0% of Hispanic students. While in social studies, 63% of Asian students received a distinguished score, compared to 25% of Black students, 36% of white students, and 0% of Hispanic students. Looking at achievement by gender, 42% of female students are distinguished in language arts, compared with 28% of male students. Conversely, 31% of female students are distinguished in math, compared with 40% of male students. The percentage of Asian students who were proficient or distinguished declined slightly in 2018 for English language arts, and the rest of the ethnic group scores increase and the gap is closing. All groups' scores increased and the gap is closing in math. Science and social studies results are for 5th grade only. There is no data for African American students for 2 years in the study period. In science, the other 3 ethnic groups have all improved from 2015-16 to 2018-19. Although in 2017, the Hispanic scores dropped significantly. Hispanic students lag behind Asian and white students in percentages of proficient and distinguished. Social studies results are declining among non-Asian students. While Asian students consistently excel, white student proficiency has declined, with 60% of white and Hispanic students achieving at proficient or distinguished levels in 2018-19. This chart shows achievement levels by beginning, developmental, proficient, and distinguished by ethnic group, and also shows the data for economically disadvantaged students, English language learners, and students with disabilities. The red and yellow bars denote beginner and developmental, or developing. They are especially prevalent among economically disadvantaged students and students with disabilities, while English language learners also struggle. This is a similar chart for science and social studies. There are data gaps for Black, economically disadvantaged, and English language learners. Note the achievement gaps for white and Hispanic students, as well as students with disabilities in social studies. Roughly, only 60% of economically disadvantaged and English language learners are proficient in English language arts, while for students with disabilities, just 55% show proficiency. English language learners perform slightly better in math, with 74% showing proficiency. However, economically disadvantaged students and students with disabilities fared just as poorly in math as they did in language arts. Based on the data, our strengths are language arts. Our scores have consistently risen since 2015. Math is our strongest content area and has been since 2015. Also, we are closing the gaps in language arts and in math. As for weaknesses, social studies is our weakest content area for Hispanic, Black, and white students, as well as students with disabilities. Although we are closing the gaps, more can be done to move all students up. We have a significant percentage of students in the developing categories for all areas. Questions and next steps. Why do the Asian students consistently score higher than the rest of the students? What can we do to help the other groups, such as the Black, white, and Hispanic students, continue to close the gaps? What can our teams do to improve achievement in social studies and science? More students with disabilities score in the developing level than in either proficient or distinguished for both ELA, math, and social studies. Our teams need to drill down in each content area to see what we can do to improve instruction for these students. Teams must dig deeper into the data in the end-of-grade tests to determine what specifically needs to be addressed to move students higher. Teams also need to develop common formative assessments and determine the frequency that these will be given. By working together, we can dig deeper into the data to improve instruction and learning for all students at Murdoch Elementary. Thank you, and have a nice night.